Nasir.
Open Stage would like to acknowledge the Susquehannock peoples, upon whose unceded land we produce this show. Open Stage commits to the work of dismantling the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism and the exclusions and erasures of many indigenous peoples that continue today. At Open Stage, we also believe that Black Lives Matter, and you should too. That belief starts with acknowledging plainly how the systems we depend on often operate as if they don't. We at Open Stage proudly stand united with Black people and communities of color during this movement of unrest and uprising. This show is brought to you by Open Stage, a professional theater company. Check out Open Stage's complete list of shows, all of which are offered completely free this season at openstagehbg.com. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your eyes, but still
I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound.
And now, welcome the host of Black NewsBeat, Dr. Kimeka Campbell!
Thank you for coming. Oh my gosh. Well, we are here at another episode of the Black NewsBeat, and I'm your host, Dr. Kimeka Campbell. Allegedly. We're going to put allegedly in there because I might say something crazy. So allegedly, it's me. All right. So we are so excited. Tonight is a show. We have a show. We have some heavy-hitting guests. I don't know if y'all know, but this is the third season of the Black NewsBeat, and we have had some repeat guests, but we've had over 140 guests. Yeah. We have 3 to 4 guests a show. We have musical artists. If you missed the last show and the show before that, I mean, just amazing. So you guys should definitely check those out. We have been having a wonderful time here since 2020. We started as a spot on Gibby's show. Yeah. My Talented Friends Live, and it was 5 minutes, and for some reason, y'all can hate him and not me for this show. If you're like, wow, Kimeka talks too much, Gibby went, you can really carry a show. And I said, what would I ever talk about, Gibby? And he said, well, I think you can find some things. And I don't know, an hour and 15-minute show later, here we are. So I'm very thankful to Open Stage. We'll talk a little bit about our partnership with Open Stage. So I'm very glad you all are here. So we are back tonight at Open Stage. So Open Stage is our home, but we moved the show around. Next week we'll be at Elementary Coffee, which is one of my favorite spots to do the show. So please come check that out. We will have some artists. We'll have a couple artists and some more of our elected and also candidates that are running for office, because y'all know it's election season, and it's always crazy in Harrisburg for election season. Listen, so we're going to talk about it soon, but did y'all see the PA-10 slate? Do y'all know what PA-10 is? Yeah. Well, PA-10 is when we try to get Scott Perry unelected. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Some of y'all might like Scott Perry. I don't know, but I'm saying this is a nonpartisan show, but Kimeka personally, he got to go, all right? And what's interesting is, for some reason, everybody's running as a Democrat, and there are 7 people running in the primary. So we're going to talk about that coming up on the show. Who's voting on November 7th? That's a much better response than last show. Last show guests. Take note when you hear this online. They were way more excited about voting than y'all, but that's okay. We'll make it a competition if we need to, but everyone needs to get out and vote. Voting decides so many things for our community locally. Local elections matter most, right? We're going to be electing our PA 10 folks coming up, but we'll also be electing several local seats. So keep your eye out on that and get ready to vote, okay?
Yes.
Shout out to everyone who hosted this show. This is my favorite part of the show. Let's see who's here.
Yeah.
John's here.
John, sound
Yes.
John.
John's on sound. Yes. Shout out to John on sound. Let's see who's outside. Morgan's here.
Morgan the bartender.
Yeah. Morgan's on the bar. If you don't drink, Morgan's also on snacks, okay? There are great snacks at the bar. I just had a very delightful adult Lunchable. It was amazing. I just housed the fruit snacks backstage, and they were amazing. So please check that out. Bree's here.
Bree!
Yeah. Bree is one of the show assistants / managers, helps me get these delightful cards you see together in color. You see that? Sometimes, one time they were not in color. She's like, Kimeka, they're not in color. I was like, it's okay, it's fine. That they are amazing and they help keep me on track, so thank you to Bree. Buster's here. I mean, he's always husband, but he's also the show engineer and he works the board back there. Finn, always get that wrong. I'm sorry, boo. Front of house, goes to person who checked you in. Last but not least, we have a world-renowned, did I forget anybody? Because I always do. Yanni's not here tonight. Keep her in your prayers and her family.
Love you, Yanni.
Her son was in a horrible car accident a few weeks ago, and he is rehabilitating, and they are also suffering some other losses surrounding that. So please keep my very dear friend Yanni Williams in your prayers. Send good vibes. It doesn't matter who you pray to, because prayers matter all over the world. Pray for her, all over cultures. Pray for her family. They're going through a lot right now. So definitely want to keep her in prayer.
We love you, Yanni.
Love you, Yanni.
Hey, Paul Hood's here. Paul Hood's here.
Is the writer in the house?
Paul Hood's here.
Well, we have 3 writers on this show. Did y'all know that?
Yeah.
Ooh, we have a staff. We have people that we pay to do things. It's crazy. The fact that we are, the show is doing this in this 3rd season is amazing to me because it's a community show. So Paul Hood's here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let me try again. Director and writer Paul Hood is here. Yes. And we also have 2 other writers on the show, Maria James Chow of Hair Story and Mark Yes. And Marquise Lupton, who is an anchor and show engineer at WITF.
Yeah.
And we also have a special show that I also participate in. I'm a guest host on his show. I'm a cousin of the show. And we do our thing on Monday afternoons on The Melanin Report.
Yes.
Check that out. It's an amazing show. We have a great time. So we do Mondays and we do the top 5 stories. And then he has 2 other shows in the week that he is bringing in special guests and talking about important topics. Y'all really need to check that out. All right? Did y'all know about the Melanin Report? Yeah. Jenny actually sent it to me. A couple of people sent it to me. A couple of people sent me a couple episodes. Please check that out. It is one of our newer additions to the Central Pennsylvania area. And Marquise is doing an amazing job. And if you haven't met Marquise, come hang out with us. A couple shows here and a couple other places. If you want to be on his show, he's always looking for amazing guests from our region. So, all right, Melanin Report. Check us out wherever podcasts are aired. Check us out.
Yes.
Okay, so let's check in. Did you guys miss us? Not really. They're like, I don't know. We might have missed you. It's fine. It's fine. But we also, in addition to missing me, which you should have, and us, today is also National Curves Day. All right. Yeah. So National Curves Day is important to me because as a curvier woman, right, it is always interesting to try to buy clothes. So tonight, and I'll tell you why in a second, tonight I chose for something a little more conservative, only because I could not find anything to wear that I was like, is this appropriate? Is this appropriate? And usually I don't worry about that. But we usually don't worry about appropriateness, but I'll tell you why in a second. I'm worried about it. So so it's National Curves Day. Celebrate your friends who are curvy. It's hard out here in the streets for a curvy girl. Yeah. And I also want to acknowledge that I am on the smaller side of curvy. So like, I'm in a 1X or so, and people are like, oh, you're in a 1X? I'm going to let you guess why I'm in a 1X. I'm not going to say it because the pastor's here, the bishop's here. But I'll let you guess why. And finding even 1X, I went jean shopping, and online, Encore Jeans, shout out to them. I don't even have a sponsorship with them, but honey, Encore Jeans are the truth, because they get you in the things and they do the things, okay? And, but I was still having trouble finding the sizes that I needed. And so I'm like, it must be much more difficult for anyone of any other size. Both, if you're a small curvy girl or a big curvy girl, either one, it's hard. But it's something to acknowledge, because we treat curvier plus women very different in this society. And celebrate your curvy friends today, of all sizes, okay? Yeah. So we also have some great guests tonight. Are y'all ready for these guests? Yeah. We have Tasha C. Williams. She is running for Dauphin County Judge. Yeah. The newly minted USA boxing coach, Claudie Kenion's here. Yeah. He also brought his people. Did you hear him? I don't think y'all heard him. Y'all might need to be louder. And then we also have, so you guys might say, Kimeka, why are you about to go to church? You usually be doing some things. And it's because Bishop William Dallas is here! And I know that Bishop William would say, come as you are, come as you are. I know Bishop would say that, but your R and my R are not the same. Thank you. Okay, he's also very funny, so he just said my joke was funny, so I'm in heaven. This is great. And last but definitely not least, we have the infamous, famous Commissioner George Hartwick's here. He's all of the above. Some people hate him, some people love him. I happen to walk the middle road, you know what I mean? And it depends on who you ask on which day, if he's doing a terrible job or a great job. But he's going to tell us about all the things he does, as many as we can pack into his interview tonight. So I'm very excited about that. Well, before we get into all that, we got to sweep these streets, honey. There's a lot going on in the world, in the Americas. Let's sweep these streets. I have to get a rap voice on. Hold on. Rap snitches. Rap snitches telling all their business. Sit in the court and be their own star witness. Do you see the perpetrator? Yeah, I'm right here. F around and get the whole label sent up for years. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but we'll get to that. Not that the alleged facilitator of the murder of legendary hip-hop legend Tupac Shakur is a rapper. He's not. In fact, he's a notorious gang member, but homie ran his mouth on a podcast, no less, and sprinted right into a conviction. Yes, hip-hop fans, after decades of wondering, it seems the authorities have found the man behind the 1996 murder. That's 27 years ago, is that right? Did I carry the one right? Because that's a lot of years ago. Murder of Tupac Shakur. Known as Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, it's been reported that after years of a long, drawn-out investigation, Mr. Davis was recently apprehended. Look at this man. He's overtaken by what has become an epidemic known as male toxic masculinity. Sorry. Basically, he confessed that he was in the locker room with his cronies, and actually that he orchestrated the entire thing. Well, that's if you believe that Tupac is dead. Do y'all believe that? Most people believe that Tupac is hiding in a safe house somewhere. So we don't really know the truth in the black community, but the rest of the world believes he's dead. But we'll just let them believe that. That's fine. I guess the lyrics quoted by the late MF Doom are a bit poetic. So if you didn't know who that was debating, that was the rapper MF Doom. A thin line between love and Repossession. Oh, the lies and thievery. Anyone who is on TikTok knows one of our favorite influencers. Who's on TikTok? One, carry the one. 5, 7. Okay. So if anybody is a TikTok influencer, y'all got popping TikToks. I don't. I just got 100 likes today, and I was so excited. So I'm not necessarily influenced on TikTok, but it appears that the popular TikToker Rayshonda Lias Lockhart has filed for divorce from her wife, Minister. That's important. LaShandra, yes, Rayshondra and LaShandra Lias Lockhart, after 6 years of what appears to be matrimonial bliss. According to online reports, Minister LaShandra is accused of running a scam, stealing money from the church, so much that she rented a dining room table from Rent-A-Center that got repoed. Did y'all know that dining tables get repoed? I didn't know that. Yes, she was renting, furnishing folks with the church's money. That's crazy. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that I am all-out advocate for black love, but how much prayer and fasting will it take to overcome this level of deceit? How that this is insurmountable in my opinion. I know damn well if Basir was out here rent-a-centing dining room tables that I would know about it. I mean, I hope. Basir, are you out here rent-a-centing? Okay, no? All right. And what's the other part about it was, later it was revealed from some of her closest friends that this wife had targeted her specifically for the scam. That's crazy. I've never heard anything like that. New CEO. Ooh, we are celebrating a new community CEO. Do y'all know where? Can anybody guess? Ha! We talk back at this show. So if I say y'all know who to guess, y'all can tell me. So this month, our neighbors over the Whitaker Center for the Sciences and Arts introduced their new CEO, Mary Oliveira, the former, well, she's like transitioning, the transitioning chief operating officer for the marketing agency and one of our beloved partners as well, Color and Culture. Oliveira will be taking the helm at Harrisburg's Cornerstone for Arts as of November 6th. Yes. We talked about on the show when Ted Black left, so she's stepping in for Ted Black, who left back in April. He led the Whitaker Center for 6 years, respectively, and he was also responsible for the brand, well, it's kind of brand new, but the Innovation Center and Station, additionally, the partnership that they have with HU for the gaming outfit that they put in there. Ted Black was instrumental in bringing all that in. So, I don't even think she has big shoes to fill. I just know that whatever they started at the Whitaker Center, Ms. Oliveira is more than capable of taking us into the next horizon for the Whitaker Center. I'm so excited on that. Our staff here at the Black News Beat would like to welcome Ms. Oliveira and wish her well as she helps to continue to maintain the Whitaker Center's importance to the culture and vibrancy of our city and the region. Well, we're back. We're in Harrisburg, honey. Broad Street Market with the broad drama. In local news, it seems that there's a bit of confusion happening over in Midtown. As many of us know, the market was ravaged by a fire back in July. Soon afterward, the community came together and started brainstorming ways to get the affected vendors back on their feet. Who was part of that? Anybody supported our vendors at the Broad Street Market? Yeah. If you haven't supported the vendors, please listen on, because we want you to support them, but we want you to support them right. So, of course, crowdfunding, because that's what we do in this day and age, was immediately thrown on the table, which resulted in positive results that eventually offered hope. And what is now a plan in full swing as a temporary space is under construction on one of our many forever vacant lots in Harrisburg. But as this is happening, there are rumors of the market vendors being misled as to how and when the funds will be available to them. So, what's happening with vendor support, BSM? We'll be sure to keep everyone up to date with this development in the coming weeks, because we're not really sure. What we do know is the money wasn't getting to the vendors who were affected by the fire. That's what we do know. And we have some testimonials here. So, well, y'all keep an ear out. Now, if we tell you on the show, we want you to keep an eye out, because this is what the show's about, raising awareness about these issues. We'd also like to express some condolences. We had some horrible incident in the city. We want to express our sincere condolences to the family of Marion Holmes, the 18-year-old that had his life taken on October 3rd around 12:34 a.m. during a crash involving a Harrisburg City police cruiser. The accident occurred on the 19th and Holly Streets And for those of us familiar with this street, located in the city's Allison Hill section, one would have to wonder why local authorities will be traveling at high speeds down narrow streets like that of Holly, which, like most of the streets in Harrisburg, are dark, narrow, and especially on the hill, and going the wrong way. So the question is, how much of an importance is public safety in our city? And the interesting thing about this is that people immediately got online and started to defend the officers when this family literally just lost a child. And folks were defending, well, they were just doing their jobs. And my question always is, why do we prioritize actual danger of somebody literally getting killed in the advent of police business over actual safety? Why is that? And that's a question I think we all need to ask ourselves. Wow. We'll have your news. On the fabulous Saturday, September 30th, Destiny and I twirled into a rendezvous at the Tabernacle. We are in Media and Melanin, okay? So the Media and Melanin is my favorite part of this show because I get to talk about current events with Black and brown folks who are on screen, TV, podcasts, music, everything. So we twirled into, Destiny and I twirled into a rendezvous at Tabernacle, Atlanta during Kerry Washington's book tour for Thicker Than Water. Listen, I was decked out in my pink lace number. Yes, I was. Did y'all see the pink lace number? If you didn't, Basir has a picture there somewhere. He does. Ready to dazzle. But who knew I'd catch the sparkle of the eye of the style queen herself, okay? When Kerry said, I love that dress. Is your name Kimeka? Well, Kimeka, you came correct. I soared into a cloud 9, standing in the presence of fashion royalty, and she was giving me a compliment? The world must stop and acknowledge this. Y'all remember when I shared on the show that I put in to be a media person on the book stop of that tour, and then literally not even 2 days later, right? The universe listened and did the trick, unlocking a fashion nod from the icon. It wasn't just a fangirl moment. It was a dress to impress, mission accomplished with a sprinkle of playful banter exchanged with the best dressed woman on TV. Honey, it was a fashion fairy tale with a flavorful, humorful twist, and let me tell you, it felt like a full circle moment under the Georgia stars. Let's take a quick look at my journey of becoming best friends with the Kerry Washington.
Hey y'all, come with me on my journey to learn how I became best friends with Kerry Washington in 24 hours. It's 4:45 in the morning. After finding out that I got chosen for a special creators program, I had 24 hours to book a flight and get to Atlanta. But Spirit was good to me. My luggage fit under the seat. I got a whole row to myself, and I even made some content on the plane. And at my ripe age of 42, I still have a lot of unlearning to do myself. Where was I going, you may ask? I was on my way to Tabernacle to see Kerry Washington on the Atlanta stop of her book tour. I met my sister for an early breakfast at Barney's, and I had the catfish spaghetti before heading over to the theater. This beautiful theater is where I would get to meet the one and only Kerry Washington, who poured out her heart onto the pages of her new book, Thicker Than Water. An amazing story of resilience and love, and I got to meet my creator friends from Meta as we were just about to see Kerry behind the curtain. Outfit reveal. I had so much fun picking up this outfit and looking pretty in pink. I can't wait for you to hear what Kerry had to say about my outfit. She is basically the best celebrity next to Michelle Obama.
I love this. Yes, you came correct.
Did y'all hear that? If you didn't, just go back and rewind it and listen again, because your girl was looking good and Kerry told me so. Her talk was amazing, and the worst part about it was Tyler Perry, but I do digress. Her stories of resilience and love and family were everything that we wanted to hear. It was so wonderful. And the let out was amazing too. Beautiful black women were everywhere. And look at these pictures, y'all. You only get one life. And this was how I was living my life on Saturday, okay? I even got to see Dr. Chelsea and meet new friends. It was amazing. Hey, y'all, come with me on my journey.
Yeah, that was fun. was really fun. And so the only other thing I want to say about that is if y'all go to Atlanta, go to Barney's, because they understand that in the Black community, catfish and spaghetti is a dish. Well, this is my other favorite segment called There's Nothing to Do in Harrisburg. Wow, never. There's nothing ever. I'm going to tell you about all of them. No, you're fine. You can talk back, honey. Yes, that's right, because people always say this. So you know who came up with this segment name? Actually, Paul, the writer. He's good at this. Yes. So this show's a partnership between Open Stage and YPOC. If you're still not, who's a member of YPOC? I am. Yes! Well, Claudie's not, Bishop's not, Jenny's not, and I know them. Yeah, so like I said, several years ago, we started this partnership now. It's going on into year 4. We'll be in year 4 starting in the new year. So we want you to support both Open Stage and YPOC, both doing amazing things in the community. It's $65 for the entire year to join YPOC. We take those funds and we put them back into discounts and offerings and event offerings in the community, leadership workshops, our Juneteenth celebration, our retreat. We have a lot to offer. And you should also support the great work going on Open Stage. Yes. Yes. You can become a member of the inner circle for the low price of $20 a month, $30 a month. It used to be 20. But you're supporting the full season of shows, supporting the Black NewsBeat and the folks that work on this show. So please go ahead and choose which one you support or do both. I'm about both. Why not both? Speaking of wonderful work going on at Open Stage, The Exorcist is playing right now. Dun, dun, dun. The opening was on Sunday and Saturday, and I heard it went really well.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
It's a very complicated technical show.
Yes.
And they pulled it off.
They pulled it off.
Yeah, it's creepy, it's scary. It's
all the things.
All the things.
And I know Bishop is probably celebrating Hallelujah Night this month. However, I think you should definitely, if you are, a little heathen like myself, all right, go ahead and check out The Exorcist and support the theater. And they also, what else is coming up at Open Stage?
The Mask of the Red Death by
Yes.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes.
But it's a concert that my buddy Tony Wayne wrote all the music. It'll be performed live. I will be reading the narrator part. I'll be playing Edgar Allan Poe. And there's projections. I'll be in this.
That
theater.
sounds amazing.
There's projections.
I'm gonna have to come see
There's
that.
live musicians.
Yeah.
It's very creepy, but it's very beautiful, and it's.
This is very
definitely something
exciting.
He did it at Fringe at the Harrisburg.
Yes,
Fringe
that's
Festival.
right.
Yes, and so he's now taking it. He'll be doing it in Lancaster, he's taking it around and trying
That's
to tour it
amazing.
around, and so we're trying to develop this piece and turn it into something really cool.
That is so, I'm excited. I can't wait. And then also for YPOC, join us at Happy Hour at the end of the month at El Coqui, hosted by one of our members and friends of the show, Leslie Avila. If you missed the Leslie Avila episode, as I like to call it, of the Black NewsBeat, please go back and watch. She was so dynamic and wonderful. That was 2 shows ago. We also have coming up, we're going to do our Friendsgiving in November. We have our Holiday Liddy in December, and we always have a great time, so look out for that. Additionally, the Central Pennsylvania Film Commission, by none other than John Trey Williams III. He's going to host his very first Empowerment Summit on October 20th. Be there. Let's see the flyer so I can read the details, because I don't be remembering. All right? October the 20th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Harrisburg University campus, 14th floor. That is 326 Market Street in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. John Trey is doing amazing work. He pitched at something called Keystone Merge a few months back, his beautiful vision for Central Pennsylvania and film, and y'all gotta get on the ground floor of this, okay? He is bringing big stuff to Central Pennsylvania, and he's doing it so methodically and wonderfully and really just taking his time and doing something great. So I'm encouraging you, if you have time, please come on down to that event. It's gonna be from 9 to 1 on the 20th of October. It's very exciting. Last but not least, let's talk about events that happened, okay? Because it is still Hispanic Heritage Month, and honey, were you at the Latino Connections and Color and Cultures Latino Ball on Saturday night? Because if you weren't, it was a time. When I tell you we had a blast, it went from performing events, to beautiful awards, to George just being amazing, to a full-on dance party with a famous DJ. We had a blast. And I think Basir has a picture up there somewhere, but I just want you to see my dress. Okay? Because it was gorgeous. He's like, do I have a picture? He's like, I don't know, babe. Do I have a picture? But I got a lot of accolades for the dress. I've been having a very good dress week, you know? And so that was just an addition to it. But if he doesn't have a picture, it's there somewhere. But if he doesn't have it, I want you to go and see this dress. Honey, the dress. Oh, it's not that one. Sorry, it's another one. I have another one. That's the Kerry Washington outfit. That's the whole thing. The other one is another pink. He was with me. He know that's not the dress. But yeah, so it was a beautiful night. It was so fun. We had such a fun night. And if I will know one thing in my life, in this new post-COVID season, I am not missing another Latino ball at all. It was a beautiful night. So I encourage you to support the work that they're doing. If you guys didn't know, the Latino population in the state of Pennsylvania in every major media market has doubled their residency. That's a double increase in how many people live in these markets. And that's important because the world is going to change and be very different than how we see it now. Every other minority population is also booming in the state, but the Latino community is leaps and bounds around everyone. So if you want to be in with the what's happenings, okay, you need to get to know our Latino community here in our area, in Harrisburg-Carlisle region, and across the state, wherever you live, because honey, it's about to be popping and you need to be in on that. It's already popping, but you know, it's about to be popping ton. So yeah. Well, that's the end of the first segment. And I told you about those great guests, so we will be right back with our first guest.
99 Characters Entertainment can help you showcase your talents by offering our services and bookings, photography, flyers, logos, jewelry, broadcasting time, and anything else the modern content creators need.
Calling all members of the Greater Harrisburg community. We need you. We would love for you to join the YPOC and become a part of our leadership team. Would you like to join our board and get great perks and access in the community? Think about it and let us know. We'd love for you to contact us as soon as possible if you are ready. You can email us at info@ypoc-hbg.org.
Welcome back to the show. I hope you're having a good time so far. And now we get to the good stuff. I mean, I'm great stuff, but this stuff coming up, amazing. So we have our first guest here, and I'll introduce her. This is Tasha C. Williams. And she is running for Dauphin County Judge. Court of Common Pleas?
Yes.
Yes, sorry. To Court of Common Pleas, Dauphin County Court of Common Pleas. And she is aiming to fill a vacancy left by Judge Lewis with a background as the founder and managing attorney of Williams Law Group, of counsel at Gunther and Patel Law Firm, and a commissioner in Susquehanna Township. She carries a variety of legal experiences. Williams is also noted for her role as an assistant district attorney in York County, a teacher of constitutional law at Lebanon Valley College, and for her involvement in several community and legal organizations. Please welcome Tasha C. Williams. Well, hello.
Hello, hello.
You are back.
I'm back.
How are you?
Tired.
Yeah.
But
Campaigning is wild.
campaigning is very, very, very tiresome.
Yes,
but
it
it's
is.
worth it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I have crafted very carefully some questions for you, but you can tell us whatever you want to tell us first.
Okay.
Pitch us. What's going on with you, and why should people vote for you?
Well, I am hoping that the voters will come out and exercise their right to vote, as so many people died just so that we could all have this right. And there are two candidates running. I am one of the two, but I am the more qualified of the two. I represent a very diverse background, and I don't just mean in terms of my ethnic background, but what I bring to the table in terms of my legal experience. I've been an attorney for 4 years, but prior to me going to law school, I worked for our state legislature, and that is the branch of government where the laws are created. So I assisted with drafting laws, researching laws, working for various members of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. As you just noted, I'm also a commissioner now for the 8th Ward of Susquehanna Township right here in Dauphin County.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And as a commissioner, we're responsible for the operations of the entire township. So that's from, police, firefighters, all of our utilities, parks and recs. We're stewards of the money and the taxes. And so that's legal experience as well, having worked as a prosecutor in York County as well as Franklin County, where the seat is Chambersburg. And now currently in private practice as a defense attorney. And I've also been a judicial law clerk at the trial level, which is the Court of Common Pleas, as well as the appellate level, which is our Commonwealth Court. And so I have experience from every side that my opponent does not have. And so for that reason alone, in addition to my ethnic experiences and backgrounds, the ability to relate to people from all walks of life, I am adjunct faculty at Lebanon Valley College. And so there, the students come from various backgrounds. I've worked in the city. I was a high school Spanish teacher at West Philadelphia Catholic High School. So I have the experience of being of service to people from all walks of life. And so that is why I am running. You earlier in the first segment mentioned that there's just this issue with public safety and making sure that our community is kept safe. That is very important to me. And I have an extensive background in criminal law, prosecution and defense. My opponent's background is heavily in family law. And so the focus really needs to be on how we keep our families and our communities safe.
Absolutely. Love that.
Thank you.
So, yes. So let's talk a little bit about promoting justice. You've got a vision for lessening to lessen wrongful convictions. If elected, are you planning to bring a lie detector test as your sidekick, or do you have other superpowers up your sleeve to fight justice?
Well, I don't have superpowers in that respect, but just in terms of my life experience, that alone I think is a superpower because I have been an advocate for those wrongly convicted. But I've also prosecuted. So I have been in the company of police who do amazing work. I've also seen firsthand police officers who abuse their privilege and they don't follow the process. They cheat. And anytime you cheat, that leaves open the possibility that someone will be wrongfully convicted. And not to say that the person is actually innocent, but you're wrongly convicted if the prosecutor or police cheated, thereby depriving you of a fair trial. Right. And so in that instance, you are wrongly convicted. And that also leaves open the possibility that someone who is actually and factually innocent, where they could be convicted for a crime that they did not commit. So I'm very much committed to making sure that all people part of the process, particularly on the government side, follow the rules and do not cheat.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about your legal philosophy and values. Your campaign emphasizes integrity, compassion, and experience. In the courtroom, how will you blend these three to create a judicial remix that resonates with the people?
I think it's important that people feel that they are heard, and that's whether it's a litigant, whether it's a plaintiff in a civil matter, or maybe a protection from abuse matter, or a defendant in a civil matter or criminal matter. But as well as attorneys, I do know that there have been times where an attorney has felt intimidated to go in a courtroom and speak to a judge because they know that they're going to be shut down right away. Yeah. So every person who steps foot in my courtroom, should I be elected, would be treated with dignity and with respect. They will be heard. Now, they can't go on a diatribe. They have to cut it off at some point, or I have to assist them with cutting it off at some point, but they will feel that they were at least heard. And I feel that oftentimes that's all people want. They want to feel that they have been heard.
Excellent. And last but not least, on community engagement, you have a rich history of community involvement. As a judge, how do you plan to keep the community vibe alive in the courtroom?
So I think it's important to remain engaged in the community. Now, as a judge, I would not be able to participate in political activities, but keeping that pulse on the community. I have a love for children. I have a love for all people, but a special love for children. Currently, as a defense attorney, I represent many of them who come into contact with police and our criminal justice system. And so I think it's important to remain visible in the community so that children can see that they too can aspire to have a career in law and not necessarily have a negative attitude towards the law because of personal experiences that they may have had with the law. And so I remain committed to being present and active in the community should I win this seat.
Wonderful. And so how do you feel about your chances? I always ask that.
Well, I feel awesome because I have faith that the community is going to come out and vote.
Yeah.
That's really all that it takes. I'm very confident in my capabilities and what I have to offer to the community, and so now it's the community's part. I think I've done a really good job of making sure that my name is out there, that my face is out there, that people know who I am, that people know that they live in Dauphin County. That had been a challenge in the past.
Yes.
And I understand the confusion. We have all these municipalities, but then we have school districts. And so, you might live in Lower Paxton Township, but your kid goes to Central Dauphin East School District. So it's very confusing, but we have done our part as the team to elect Tasha C. Williams, and so now it's just the community's part to either get that mail-in ballot in. The deadline to request the mail-in ballot is October 31st, and it has to be returned to the Election Bureau by 5:00 p.m. on November the 7th. And then, of course, Tuesday, November 7th is Election Day. Polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. So if the community does their part, I feel very, very good about our chances.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
I just want to say personally, I see the work you're doing. Good luck on the trail.
Thank
you. I am hoping that for you personally, that your results, we're nonpartisan here on the show, but we want to see, I think it would be important to have a Black woman in that seat. I think it would be wonderful for the county, and so I just want to wish you a lot of good luck on the trail. Tasha C. Williams.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And our campaign, we are always looking for volunteers to help knock on doors, make phone calls. And so to get in touch with us, our website is www.latasha4countyjudge.com. And there we can, talk about even more what's needed. There's always ways to contribute. If you're not able to physically contribute, there's other ways. As a judicial candidate, I cannot say, but I'll let you put two and two together. So
nice.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying this period of learning. There's a lot to learn during this election season, okay? And we'll be right back with our next guest.
Are you looking to broaden your skills in digital media creation? Are you looking to be a part of a great team? Well, we need you. The Black News Beat will be trying to fill various positions to help make our show a great success. We'll be looking for tech assistants to help on set. We'll be looking for writers to help write the show every single episode. Also need digital media assistants. Absolutely need some live audience coordinators. We'd love to open up these opportunities to high school and college students. We'd love for you to intern with us and learn more about the business and get your feet wet with a great company at Open Stage. So if you're interested, please let us know. We'll be taking applications via email. You can email us at Kimeka@kimeka.org. That's Kimeka @kimeka.org. Hope to see you on the set soon.
Special guest in the house. Let me hear you make some noise for Claudie Kenion. Hi, Claudie.
How you doing?
I currently don't like him. I'll tell you why. So, in addition to being a nation-renowned, almost world-renowned, USA boxing coach, he's also my trainer. Boom! And this week he decided that we were not going to do Monday because of the holidays, so Tuesday and Wednesday and everything on my body hurts. Thank you very much. But he's here, and I want to tell you a little bit about him. Claudie is a certified personal trainer and bronze level certified, is it bronze or silver?
Silver.
Silver, excuse me, I apologize. Silver certified level boxing coach, having dedicated over a decade to personal training and 2 decades to boxing. Yes. Yes. He is a key figure at the Capital Punishment Boxing Club. You heard the punishments in the name. It's crazy. Where he serves as a strength and conditioning coach. Besides his coaching duties, Kenion is also provides private personal training and group sessions, extending his expertise to help individuals meet their fitness goals. He is also the CEO of Fit Forever 365. Is that right? Yes.
Yes.
His brand. And has transitioned to team up with Capital Punishment Boxing Club in 2017. His efforts extend beyond the boxing ring into the community, offering scholarships to at-risk youth through his role at the boxing club, and he also is the head of Central PA Unite. So he does a lot of stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, I mean, I told the people a lot about you, but tell them a little about you. What you want to tell us about you?
That's so much. I wear so many hats, but a lot of stuff I do is for the community. I started my private training, like I said, 10, 15 years ago. Even when I was doing that time, I was a certified painter, worked for the union, District 21. But in and out, I was doing personal training on the side. And one day I just sat down and said, hey, I need to do this full time because I got a lot of clients that want my services. So I started that with Capital Punishment as a strength and conditioning coach there, training people on the side. Then my expertise in boxing, when I was young, I wanted to try out being a boxing coach. Now, believe me, that was a hard task because, coming into the boxing world and knowing you know how to box, but you're trying to transition to a boxing coach is a hard subject, hard avenue. But through the years, I learned, I've grown from that. I experienced hardship, but I experienced rewards also. And with that, I did that. I started doing boxing. Got my fighters here today, love them to death. During the Black Lives Matter movement, I wanted to do something for the community. My background being incarcerated, I've been there, I've done that. I know that transition, that lifestyle, so I can relate to the public, the kids. So what we started was within Black Lives Matter Harrisburg. We slowly transitioned into Unite Central PA. I'm the CEO of that corporation, a nonprofit, where we get back to the community. We do a lot of community events. We also have a boxing scholarship through Capital Punishment, where we grant underprivileged fighters, disciplinary fighters, unfortunate fighters. We get them off the street. We pay for the yearly membership, and we also pay for the equipment. And it's a year program, and we had a lot of success for that so far. Through our grants and sponsorship and donations to the community, we sponsor over 18 kids so far in the past 2 years.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I think he's great. But let's talk more. You mentioned being incarcerated.
Yes.
So I rarely get folks who are open about this, who want to talk about it. I have a lot of folks on the show that I don't want to talk anything about that. I don't want to say nothing about it. But I believe it's really important to tell those stories. As you know, a lot of our youth in Dauphin County are going through a horrible time, since the pandemic especially. I even learned today about one of my very close friends. Her son's best friend overdosed, and then learned about all of the horrible things that have been happening as far as shootings and killings, and it's all happening with particularly young men. So my question in there is, how do you incorporate or talk about or even lead with your past as a returner into the community, and how does that affect your work that you do in the community, in the gym and in the community?
It affects it, I mean, tremendously. And what I mean by that is somebody who's been incarcerated at a lot of time in violent crime, drugs, at the age of 18 to 21. And the kids can relate to me because when I'm speaking to them, they know I've been there, I've done that. So when I can speak to them about my past and where I came from now, my transitions, I'm coming home and walking off, 17 years on parole, and just got maxed out my parole, state parole in December, the 13th.
Yes.
So I'm not afraid to talk about it because it needs to be talked about. It needs to show that, I mean, when you're coming back into society, they had that low percentage success rate where you're going back in incarceration because you're institutionalized. I want to break that stigma that you don't have to be institutionalized. If you start from inside and create your mind right, you can come out here and do it. And I did it. 17 years walked off. I created an establishment. I mean, I'm making awesome money. I mean, legally.
Yes.
It can be.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I can show it can be done. So when the kids see me, I can do it. I mean, the violent kids on the street, the kids that's in harm's way, they can see somebody, I can do it. I want to stop them from before they even go to prison.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's stop that. Let's start here. Don't even go there and take my route and come home and have to do it hard. Okay, it was hard. 17 was hard. I mean, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, I mean, and it was hard, so I'm here now, and I want to keep a lot of kids off the street.
Yes. Yes. So boxing is a thing. Let's talk about your journey into boxing. With over 20 years in boxing, you've seen more hooks than a fishing boat. Can you share a moment from your journey that hit you harder than a right hook and fueled your passion to mentor others into the sport?
Yeah, like I said, when I was a strength and discipline coach, I seen in all boxing gym, we have a great gym, great coaches who helped me transition to a boxing coach. But I've seen a lot of things that was done wrong, and I don't want to point names or say anything, but I want to be the example of a boxing coach, to break that stigma of being a coach that hate on other fighters, hate on other boxing coaches. I want to be a coach that just stay on the straight line and help kids out. Do I have faults? Yes, I do. But my faults come from people correcting me, and I make a mistake, and I correct myself. So when I do that, and other coaches and the fighters see that, I'm not a perfect coach.
Yeah.
But I'm a very stern coach. But I'll get my sternness all across because I want to produce champions. And it's not only about boxing with me, because I want to make it a way of life where when they leave outside the ring, I can be either with them or they can be themselves and can be successful in life. It has to do more than boxing.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
boxing is a major part because I'm their mentor. A lot of kids come from broken homes. Even the kids that have both parents, I still want to be there for them. I'm not going to never be their mom or dad because they have that place. But I want to be a second person or third person they can turn to and talk to.
Absolutely.
And enjoy my passion and what I'm doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful. So, you work with a lot of at-risk youth through the Capital Punishment Boxing Club, right? And that work
Yes.
is very inspiring, very inspiring. Can you share a story where you saw boxing gloves replace negative influences in a young person's life, turning a potential knockdown into a knockout win for them?
Yes, I can say that one of them is not my boxer. His name is Luis Morales. He's Jose Martinez boxer. He's our head coach at the boxing gym. He came to us when he was 15 years old. He had no place to live. The parents was in jail. He was living house to house in the projects. selling drugs on his own, trying to survive. He came to the boxing gym. His friend Mikey brought him to the gym and said, Coach, I need him in here. He needs the help. He became boxing, saving his life. He was really like dedicated in boxing. Became a boxer, went to the Golden Gloves. He didn't win, but he took second. Became a pro, and he was 4-0. He got a couple of losses now, but still, he became a pro 4-0. He's never been in trouble. He got a beautiful family, 3 kids, a wife. Wow. He's working. He never been in trouble since, and that was over 15 years now. Wow. So it's a great, great thing.
That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. So let's talk about now my favorite part of the story, because this is, I'm like, every week, I'm like, Claudie, do you understand what just happened? You need to be on the talking, you need to be giving speeches and keynotes, because this is an amazing part for me. Your transition into USA boxing coach. Wow. So stepping into the shoes of a high-performance national team coach for USA Boxing is no small feat. How do you plan to bring the rhythm of the ring to the national team and maybe dance your way into the international victories?
Oh, man, it's truly a blessing, and I want to thank my boxers, especially Rashawn Sims. He's in his audience because he's...
Yeah!
Excuse me. Yeah, his dad, Richard Sims, also too, man, cool man, and we bump heads, but man, I love him to death because we brought this kid along, and now he's a 5-time national champion and 1-time international champion.
Yeah.
And my gift of learning and just constantly learning and wanting to just pass it on to these kids. We created some great fighters in this audience, in the gym. And I want to continue to mark my name as a boxing coach, not as a coach. I want to be great, but I want to bring everybody with me. People need to understand as a boxing coach, I don't want to be a boxing coach and look down on other coaches. I want to bring you with me. And I thank Richard Sims and his dad because Richard Sims started from scratch with me, and we've grown together. We argue a lot. Oh, my gosh. Man. But we both want the best for his son. And that's the great thing. And every time we argue, we come back and say, man, well, I love you. But we on one course for his son. I have some great kids here. Aya backed me. You know what I mean? She's a great kid. Been with me for 2 years. She's so much talented. Took her to our first nationals in Junior Olympics in June, and she took second place. First nationals ever. And USA Boxing came knock on the door. I went to the first training camp last year. They invited us in there, and I seen their training method. I approached them. I asked them about it, and they was interested in me. I've been in contact for a whole year. It's a hard process. Yeah. It was a whole year just going back and forth, emails, phone calls. I finally got the interview.
But it was how many finalists?
It was, they told me it was over 100 finalists. 100 applications got put in, and they choose 10 to do the interview. Out of 10, they hire 4. So it was a hard process. It was a lot of talking. And the interview was hard, but I was myself. Yeah. I was myself, and I told them what my passion was, and they seen my skill of my fighters, and that was another thing that helped me out to get in the team. So I'm very proud of that position, and I'm still growing in that position, and I'm still learning, and I want to become better at that position, and I want to become an elite coach where I can be on the Olympic team in 2028. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's the goals for me. We got goals. And then, with all of your experiences and everything that you've done in your life, I want you to just take a moment, look into the camera, talk to that kid who is out there, just out there, and life is maybe not going in the way that they even perceived, and they're having a hard time. What do you say to that kid?
I said, don't give up. I gave up, and what I mean by giving up is I chose a street life. That's giving up. Because when you chose a street life, it's only 2 things can happen. You're going to go to jail, you're going to die. And that's the not way to go. I'm lucky that I didn't die. I went to jail. God saved me. I was saved when I went to jail. God saved me. Amen. So when I came back home, I reinvented myself, but it started from in there. I didn't just come home and thought about it. I thought about what I wanted to do with myself. And I came home, and it was a hard transition. It can be done. If you need to talk to me, you can look me up. My boxing gym. You can look me up on my UnitedCentralPA.org. Get in touch with us. We can help you. We can help you. And it just ain't have to be the boxing. We offer a lot more stuff than boxing. We're a new nonprofit organization. We're here to help, and we want to continue to help these kids. Just don't give up. When I say don't give up, don't choose the street life, because it's only two things can happen: jail or your life.
Well, I'm going to get myself together, but just one more hand for Claudie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claudie, for coming on the Black News Beat. Thank you for being an
Thank you.
amazing leader in this community, a co-leader with me and so many others that are here. And I'm thankful to know you.
Just two more things. I want to thank my nonprofit board members are here, Megan Giles and Chelsea Purcell. Without them, I couldn't be here. So they're the major force behind me.
All right. Well, we'll be back with our next guest. Thank y'all. If you guys haven't guessed, we're loading up on community engagement tonight, and so we have another very special guest here, Bishop William Dallas III. Hi, Bishop. How are you?
I am great. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. And I want to tell people a little bit about you.
All right.
So this is Bishop William Dallas. Bishop William Dallas III is the founder and senior pastor of Gospel Fellowship Church, GFC in Harrisburg. He was raised in South Philadelphia, is that right?
You got it.
Okay, and he found his calling after watching evangelist Billy Graham on television, which led him to move away from destructive behaviors he dabbled in during his youth. In 1998, he answered the call to be, in 1988, he answered the call to be a pastor, establishing Gospel Fellowship Church and initially conducting services in a conference room at the Riverfront Inn Hotel. Is that even a hotel anymore?
They've changed it since then.
Yeah, they changed it since then, right?
Yeah, all those years ago.
Yes. I was going to say 1988, you must have been like 4 or 5 years old,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. I'm glad you could tell.
Yes, exactly. Very young. Over the years, the church moved to various locations, finding a more permanent home at 604 McClay Street. Is that where y'all are now?
No, we're not there now.
Where are you
but
now?
that's a long time. We're 1635 North 7th Street
North
now.
7th Street.
But we have such an extended history
Yes.
that you might find a few other locations.
Locations. So Bishop Dallas also sheds light on the significant presence of African descent in biblical history, challenging the misconception of the Bible being solely about and by Europeans, right?
Well, I mean, I've done some messages on that. I have done some messages.
Some messages on that.
Yes.
Through exploring various figures and events in both the Old and New Testaments, he emphasizes the inclusivity of Christianity and the broader representation of all people in biblical narratives.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And I also learned that this is not your first television appearance. You also have a YouTube channel where you share messages under the banner Real Life, Real People, Real Jesus.
Yes, absolutely.
All these things I had to research about you.
Wonderful.
So I was because we are actually workout buddies.
Absolutely.
So we're going to boo Claudie together. Boo!
Boo!
Yeah.
Yes. And if I may say real quick about Claudie, he brings me to tears all the time. What he said earlier brought me to tears, and this morning, working me out, he brought me to tears.
Brought you to tears.
So I'm always in tears. I just wanted to say that. Whenever I'm around Claudie, I cry.
Oh, goodness.
But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Just want to
No, that's
interject
great.
that.
If you will learn this evening that Bishop
Yes.
Dallas is the funniest person that you will ever meet. He is hilarious. Okay, so let's talk about from Philly to the pulpit. Your journey from South Philly streets to the pulpit of Gospel Fellowship Church is inspiring. Can you share a moment or an encounter in your early days that solidified your decision to dedicate your life to ministry?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. As it very well indicates right there, I was like 12 years old and was listening to evangelist Billy Graham. Some of the younger people may not know who he is.
Yeah.
He passed away maybe a couple years ago. And my heart was really moved, and I was really touched, and I surrendered my life to the Lord at 13 years old. Wow. No, rather at 12 years old. Yeah. And then I went on and joined the church where my track coach was actually at and became involved in track. Yeah. And I'm going to say that's one of the powerful things about sports and about purpose, and the combination of having Christ in my life and also being involved in sports made a tremendous difference in my youth, because I had so much around me growing up in South Philly. All kinds of things happening around me, all kinds of destructive things, deaths and murders, all kinds of stuff. And God really spared me from that at a young age. And I'm really, really excited. And that's why I'm here today. And I think I look as young as I do. I think
yes, you do.
Yeah, and that's Claudie again. I hate to talk about Claudie.
He completed his workout in
so,
42 minutes this morning.
Well, the Lord is good.
And it usually takes people like an hour and 10 minutes like
God
me.
is good. I don't want to get caught up in bragging about
I don't want to get caught up in bragging.
Yes.
No bragging. Wait.
Right.
Okay. So let's talk about your biblical inclusivity, your exploration. You've done a couple sermons on, this is the Black NewsBeat, so we're very interested in this here, of African descent in biblical history, challenges some common misconceptions, right?
Yes.
How has this understanding of a more inclusive biblical narrative impacted your ministry and the community that you serve?
Sure, absolutely. Well, for one thing, I think a lot of times people really have the mistaken idea that the Bible is just about Europeans, where really most of the history of the Bible is about really people of color. Yeah. And I think that's really important. Even the person who helped Jesus bear his cross was actually a black man, who helped him to do that. And when you look in the book of Acts in the early church, you see a mixture of leadership. You see those of African descent, you see Greeks, and you see a mixture of leadership. Yes. And I think that's really, really important for the day that we're living in, because a lot of times, people are either looking at what they think is the white church, the Korean church, the Spanish church, the black church. And I really believe that in these final days, we're going to see more of an inclusiveness of races coming together. Right. And Dr. King said the most segregated hour is 11 o'clock, a.m. And I think that the church, we have to be the ones who make a difference racially. And if they can't see it in the church, then where will they see it? Wow. So I believe that this is really the move of this hour to bring us all together.
Wow. That's
as
awesome.
God's people.
So you do a lot, from being a YouTube star to being a comedian.
A star, you said?
Yep, star.
Oh, I'm glad. I didn't
we
know.
heard that you hosted a wedding recently where you were the talent.
Oh, well.
You were the MC. I heard about this. Whose wedding was it? And tell us about how you killed on the stage.
Yeah. Well, I was really excited. Again, whenever Claudie comes, I'm sorry, I get much joy. Claudie asked me to come out, and he and his wife, they got married a couple years or so. I'm
Mother's
not sure.
Day.
Yeah, Mother's Day, they got married. And he asked me to be the comedian. to come. I had never done something like that before, stand-up. But my wife encouraged me. She said, oh, you can do it, and everything. And the interesting thing about it was, of course, to prepare for a message, you need to prepare. You go over it.
Yeah.
I laughed because here I am preparing to be a stand-up comedian. So here I did that. And we just had really, really a fantastic and a wonderful time. I really enjoyed it. He said some people thought I was a professional.
Yes.
And the interesting thing is none of them have asked me since then
Wow.
to be a comedian. And yet they thought I was a professional. So I think I'm still lacking somewhere. However, I did mention that my fee would be $500.
Yes,
and
yes.
of course, Claudie paid me $0. So that may have had something too. I was trying to whisper. I didn't want nobody to hear.
Y'all didn't hear that, right?
Because he's got to work me out on Friday.
I know, and it's
he has
leg
a
day
way.
on Friday.
He has a way of taking things out on
He
me.
do. Yeah. So yes, so he's as you can tell, again, very hilarious. And so additionally to your comedic genius, your pastoral genius, you also are heading a really important initiative in the community.
Yes,
born out of what was happening at Broad Street Market.
Absolutely.
So tell us more about that.
Sure. It's been in my heart for a long time how important it is for the spiritual leaders to come together, for pastors to unite and come together. So many times, I've been a pastor for a long time, and the tendency is for us to try to do things separately, and we're trying to build separately. But it's so powerful when we can come together. Synergy is what it is when we can come and really become one and make an effort. So that's been what's been on my heart, and the pastors have been responding in a wonderful way. We did one at the Broad Street Market. I did not know, of course, that what was going to happen or take place at the market, but we had already set up one back in July. We had over 20-some pastors, their churches, they came out, and then we just did one on October the 7th, which was tremendous.
Now, what are you guys doing out there?
Yes, we come out, we do songs, we do testimonies, we have free food, we have vendors. So it's a real fun atmosphere.
Wow.
Also, it's a very spiritual atmosphere as well. And we saw some marvelous things, those who surrendered their lives to the Lord, because that's really the purpose. We believe that Jesus is the one who changes our lives. And I know that personally where I would be if it had not been for him. So I believe every spiritual leader, that should be the number one objective, is to share Jesus. And we saw some surrender their life to the Lord. We actually saw some people reported some physical healings. We had a prayer for that as well. We prayed for our community. We prayed for our city. We want to take our city back. We want to take it back from the drugs, from the violence and all those things. And we believe we can do it by coming together. Now, I'm going to also say we had free food. We had free food there.
Want to say that one more time?
Yes. Free food.
Yeah, it was free.
Food.
Okay.
The next time, now my wife Jenny, she does the flyers. I need her to put it larger. Free food. I think we can double our attendance if we do that. But with our free food, we have to pray. We had, on the one hand, we had sinners' food. That was hot dogs and chips and soda. And on the other hand, we had vegan food. That was the saintly food. So we had a combination of both. And we had
something for everyone.
For everybody.
When
but
you
we
give
had
your life to the Lord,
wonderful,
you apparently become vegan.
Absolutely. But we had a great time.
That's wonderful. When's your next one?
Yes. We will be having plans for next year.
Yes.
We're hoping to do it bigger and larger. We really want to make the statement to our city and surrounding areas that we are not separate as spiritual leaders, that we are united, and that we care about our community. So we're actually meeting with the pastors soon, and we'll start working on that, what we're going to do in the new year, and we're looking forward to everybody coming out. It's a spiritual time. It's also a fun time. Yeah. At the end of it, they put Kurt Franklin on. Everybody started dancing and stuff, and, we had a real
sometimes they used to consider Kirk very unholy.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's why we leave it to the end. All the holy people, we made sure they left. And we left, there was like 5 people left, so nobody be offended. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, Bishop, it has been a pleasure. What, if anything, would you like to give some last words to folks
Sure.
as a community leader, as a comedian, as a all-around just great person?
Yes.
I feel like people look up to you. So what words of encouragement can you offer folks during
Yes.
this time?
No, absolutely. Well, I still get back to the main thing I can say is how important it is to ask Jesus in your heart, and how important it is to ask him in your heart as Lord and Savior. He's done so many things for me. I've experienced depression. I've experienced anxiety. I've had some dark moments about 15 years ago or so. And I found that the Lord is the one who delivers us. And I should have gone to some doctor probably, but I went to Dr. Jesus, and he brought me through, and he helped me. So I want to encourage everybody in the room, ask Jesus in your heart. Also, of course, I have to invite you to my church. It's 1635 North 7th Street, Gospel Fellowship Church. Come on out and be blessed. Now, I know I'm over time, but oh Lord, oh yeah. Just want to give you a little something. God bless you. Dude, come on out. God bless you. God bless you.
Well,
well, if I keep on, I have to get my cash app. So I got to stop now. If I go one more.
well, you have now experienced Bishop William Dallas. And we love you, Bishop.
Love you.
And we will be right back with our final guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Are you looking to broaden your skills in digital media creation?
It's the generational wealth for us. And trust, in this season, it's about to go down. And what we're building with our generational wealth is like the third little pig's house. Something that the big bad wolf will not be able to blow down. And we're building enough generational wealth so that it can go round and around and around to affect and impact every generation. For we are the game changers of this nation. Continue creating, continue elevating, continue perfecting your field. This is construction, reconstruction. Generational wealth. We will continue to build. It's time for change. We need to make the changes that we wish to see. I don't know about you, but all I know is the generational wealth. Generational wealth. For me. Level up. We thank you for supporting us.
Guest needs absolutely no introduction. Commissioner George Hardwick. He has been a great supporter of YPOC. He's been a great supporter of so many in the room who have done so many community initiatives. How long have you been commissioner?
19 years.
19 years commissioner in Dauphin County. And as I like to say, the commissioner that's on the scene, okay? He was in a Latino ball. He was at almost every event that some of the events that we frequent in the communities as well. So please welcome George Hardwick. How you doing?
I'm blessed, and I'm certainly, my side hurts from listening to Pastor Dallas. My side hurts thinking about getting worked out by Claudie Kenion. And obviously following the judge. These are all tough acts to follow. I mean,
I put you last on purpose.
Okay.
You're the anchor. We know how you do. You're the closer.
The first shall be last.
That's right. So, amen. So we have a plethora of topics that we want to cover in a small amount of time, but we got to talk about so many things because you do a lot. So I'm going to let you first to just kind of like talk about you and what you do, and then we'll get into the questions.
I think the first thing that I'd like to express is that I think most important thing I know about politics is the people that play them usually are very short on solutions. I want to say that again. People that play politics and divide people and have themselves in a position where you're turning people against each other and negatively speaking, those people are usually motivated by their own self-purpose. And you will see them trying to advertise themselves and publicize themselves or down-talk people in many places, but you very rarely see them behind the scenes. So when you see a guy who has a lot of money, he usually doesn't drive the nicest car. When you see people who actually are trying to make a difference, they try to get over themselves. And that's the key to being able to provide true service, is the idea that it's really not about you. If you can understand that it's about the people that you serve, and the gift truly is in giving, that the accolades, the needing to take credit, the idea of downing other people for the things that you do should not be a part of what you have to do in order to get those things accomplished.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, why commissioner for so many years? How come you haven't run for governor?
Well, because, you know, I've got a storied past as well. I mean, I've been a person who has not been mistake-free. I mean, the difference with me and a lot of other people is I've shared some of those personal challenges, and I quite frankly think God has put me in places and had me experience things so I was a better servant leader. So when people were going through some of the same things I've went through, I know that it's important to respond. When people have the same kind of challenges that my family and I have experienced, I know that it's critical that I remember it's not about me, it's about them. And the idea of understanding the importance of being in those positions weren't by happenstance. It was because I believe I was defined for a higher purpose. Now, some people say, why won't you run for higher office? I truly don't believe that a higher office is given in a higher office. I think sometimes being close to the people and being able to see, feel, and touch, and to know the communities that you serve, and being able to actually see systems change, barriers be broken, people being at the table, you know, the idea of figuring out a way to change a system, and after years and decades of not providing access and not being able to provide the right level of service, being able to actually change that system and seeing people change as a result is, to me, the actual gift. The gift truly is in giving. And I don't think higher office tends to be more about an individual versus the service that you want to provide to your community.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get into your work. I want to let's start with mental health and 24/7 crisis intervention. So given the establishment of the 24/7 crisis intervention services in Dauphin County, can you share more about the new proposed 24/7 drop-in center for mental health patients? And what distinct services will it offer? And how do you see it interacting with the existing crisis intervention services in the region?
So let's start just from a basic level. Our mental health system is poorly managed and broken. Access to being able to provide mental health services is almost more difficult than anything and any challenge you have to go through. There was a promise made by former governors that when they closed the state hospital, there was supposed to be an investment made in a community-based access to a system that's going to stop you from having to go into an institution. The idea of an institution should no longer be with us. The problem was the state made those closings of the state hospital occur and never made the reinvestment back into the community to be able to provide the level of access and service that was intended. So we right now, post-pandemic, are seeing record numbers of individuals. Suicides up. Kids from 13 to 18 in the past year have seen a 110% increase in crisis intervention calls. And access to services that are at an all-time challenge. So for us, we have to think about not pointing fingers. You know, we are clearly in an underfunded system, but what is it that we can do to be able to offer solutions? So one of the first things we did was train co-responders to put them in law enforcement. The idea of having law enforcement respond to people knowing how to be able to respond and being able to divert those individuals is critically important. We saw last year 3,000 interactions with people that had serious mental illness, but only 144 arrests. Wow. Think about the number of individuals that are in our prison system now. The idea of having a multitude of folks because of a wrong reaction from law enforcement and then having them end up at the booking center would have our jails even more overcrowded. Absolutely. The second piece is we're offering, and we're actually working with Cumberland and Perry counties to develop a 24/7 drop-in center that's going to enable individual law enforcement, people from the community, individuals who are in crisis, to be able to seek service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we are going to locate this on Cameron Street.
Wow.
And do you have any water? Can I
Yes.
get a little bit of
We're
water?
gonna get a little water. Yep. Wow, on Cameron Street. That's amazing.
Yeah, the ideal location is probably going to be right around the CMU. We're in the process of selecting the provider right now. There's a consensus, but we cannot reveal who that individual is going to be. But we expect to be up and running with this new 24/7 drop-in center by February.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome. Let's also talk about substance abuse and community outreach. So we've had a recent surge in substance abuse issues and overdoses, right? It's been very detrimental in the county. So talk to us a little bit about, if you can, elaborate on the county strategy for harm reduction and community outreach. Specifically, how is the county planning to utilize opioid settlement money to combat substance abuse and support those affected within the community?
So I actually represent all counties across the Commonwealth on the national level, and I was a part of the opioid settlement efforts that were undertaken by Governor Shapiro in ensuring that those dollars, instead of being driven to the state, are going to be driven locally. So for all those companies that have been sued as a result of the disaster and the pain and the heartache and the lost lives that have been caused as a result of that industry, there has been a settlement made to Pennsylvania in the amount of about $1.1 billion.
$1.1 billion. Wow.
Out of that money, after the attorneys are paid, $700 million will be distributed throughout Pennsylvania. Each county, based upon criteria, the counties will receive 70% of the share of those dollars. And each county is responsible for making decisions on how you're going to be able to spend those dollars.
So you represented Pennsylvania on the national level with this?
I actually represented Pennsylvania in negotiations on Pennsylvania's behalf to the rest of the country for this.
Wow.
And then stood with the Attorney General as he negotiated the deal on how it was going to be distributed in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
So we now have a set formula for those dollars to be distributed, unlike the tobacco monies that were used and being used by the state budget for every other purpose besides tobacco cessation. These dollars are going to be driven out locally, and there's a process now by which you can come to Dauphin County or Cumberland County to be able to make application for opioid monies if you're innovative and trying to figure out ways to address substance abuse in a different way. So the idea that we have, that we've created a panel which is phenomenally very, very diverse from a cross-section of individuals, both individuals in recovery, individuals that are therapists. Dr. Erica Pinckney, I don't know if you know Dr. Pinckney, serves on that board from Keystone Human Services, Chuck Mazzetti from Mazzetti and Sullivan. So this board actually makes suggestions and recommendations to the Board of Commissioners on how we fund these initiatives. This past year, we had a young lady who was an African-American entrepreneur that came from the Harrisburg University's Entrepreneur Center, developed an app that is now being tested and used and piloted in Dauphin County Drug Court, and based upon her success, maybe actually blowing up around the Commonwealth and around the country for her sort of record-breaking and innovative ways to be able to address folks participating in treatment. But ultimately, the individuals that overdosed in the past 2 weeks in Dauphin County and in the city specifically, and this is not just a city problem, but they were individuals that were between the ages of 53 and 70. Think about that. When we think of overdoses, we think of individuals that are younger. You know,
Rest in peace to Pastor Walt, one of the folks
and obviously, no overdose is any that we want to ever have to endure, or any family have to endure. But in this case, it was individuals from the ages of 53 to 70, and most of them because it was crack cocaine that was there was fentanyl placed in. So ultimately, you know, there's a couple of things that you know, we want to advise people. Number one, you know, we have fentanyl testing strips. Number two, the ability to actually have Narcan. Narcan is available for free anywhere in Dauphin County that we have service provision. So the Ray's House, you can come to Dauphin County Department of Drug and Alcohol. Obviously, Narcan saves lives. I actually have a container of Narcan out of my car. I've been giving it to barbershops. I've been giving it to every location that we believe somebody could come into their location and potentially have an overdose scenario. And ultimately, we want to, this may be a bit controversial, but we want to see people live. Ultimately, we want to see harm reduction. So we've actually partnered with UPMC, with the Penn State Milton Hershey grant, and also a grant from our opioid settlement dollars to put together vending machines. One that's going to be at UPMC at the emergency room, that's going to provide wound kits for folks that use xylazine, free needle exchange, the ability for us to have warm clothing, coats, and things that would be able to assist and support individuals who are struggling through
Absolutely.
substance abuse disorder.
And I just want to say harm reduction should not be controversial.
Well, and the point is, it takes 19 times on average for somebody to go through treatment to become clean.
Wow.
Every single director I've hired for our drug and alcohol department is in recovery. I want to make sure that the people that are in recovery are talking to people in recovery. You can't get to number 2 time if you're dead.
Yeah.
We have to figure out a way to support people to be able to actually recover. And ultimately, we have an obligation, just like society, to eliminate the stigma associated with both mental illness and substance abuse.
Absolutely.
You know, when we have people who have diabetes, we talked about this earlier, we don't chastise them and put them down because they choose to eat another donut. The idea that you have a disease and a disorder, instead of pointing your finger and talking about what's wrong with those folks, we have an obligation to be able to support those families and those individuals. Let's be Christians. Let's figure out a way to talk about how I can support you. Can I come over and make a meal? What are you going through? And how can I best support your family as we figure out a way to get your son or your daughter in a position where they can be in recovery?
Absolutely. So you do so much more. So, and you gave me at least 25,000 topics to talk about. So tell me, out of all the things you do, tell me 1 or 2 things that you're really proud of, or maybe something that still needs a lot of work.
Well, I think the one thing I will say is anybody who's relying on government alone to solve their problems are going to be waiting forever. I think the only way that we can be successful as a community, as a county, as a nation, is when we engage folks that are involved in everyday life. The idea of citizen participation, engagement, being a part of the solution, there's no government person that's going to solve an epidemic. There's no government person that's going to address and solve mental illness. But we can all play our own individual role in eliminating stigma, figuring out a way to direct people into help, trying to advocate and ensure that your state representatives and senators who are now in the way of providing mental health funding are being held accountable for those decisions that they make. Engaging in understanding a little bit more of the issues and empowering our community is the only way to make real change. It's not going to be one politician that makes it happen or a set of politicians. We can manage things in a way, in the right way in public service, but I believe we all have an obligation to become engaged, informed, and a part of the solution. And without that, I don't think we're going to see real systemic change.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So this has been an interesting interview because I didn't know in depth about the monies for the harm reduction piece. I did not know about the other things. What is something that folks just don't know that is a responsibility at the county level that you think people should know about?
If you want to run down on county government, one of the things that I think is missing in our society is an understanding of civics. We took it out of school years ago, and unfortunately it has engaged and probably placed individuals in more of a dark situation than they were previous. I think county government affects and impacts almost every part of your life, from social services to the courts, the criminal justice system, to Parks and Rec, and to the events that you enjoy outdoors. I mean, we have 40 departments, about 1,600 employees, and an annual operating budget of $381 million. So the idea of engaging around county government, we actually, being involved from Pennsylvania's perspective as the representative, we have a iCivics game. So for those of you who are out there, Google NACO iCivics. We have free curriculum for kindergarten age kids, elementary school kids, high school kids, and college level kids, or any individual that wants to learn about county government. It takes you almost on a Monopoly journey around what county government provides, how it's involved in your life. I think we should probably do a little bit more education around what forms of government there are, and obviously what levels of government hold which keys and what they impact and affect.
Absolutely.
That kind of clear up of education and information would be critically important for folks to stop being able to play the blame game.
Absolutely right. I love that. So I thoroughly enjoy this. I thoroughly enjoy watching you work, and I'm happy to be able to have this conversation with you. I just want to say, even though, everybody has a story to everything, past, present, future, I appreciate the level of participation that you show up for folks in this county. As a sitting commissioner, I know you're running for office coming up, but I'm really impressed over the years with understanding just how much you show up for people. So thank you very much for that.
I think being accessible, open, and here's the thing, I know this community. I mean, I grew up here. When I was raised, I actually was in leg braces like Forrest Gump. Most people don't know. I actually had a physical disability. So I think it was another test from God. We can either see those things as barriers or opportunities. So growing up in Stilton with a physical disability and walking around with leg braces, people weren't too kind to you. I got my head slammed in the curb, you got called names, but I also figured out how to win in a crab race. I also figured out how to ride my big wheel with my hands. I also knew that when God gave me an opportunity to get out of those braces, I was stronger than any other kid my age, and I became the winningest wrestler in my high school's history. And the ability for me to be able to overcome those challenges are really, we can see the obstacles that are in front of us, like serving time and mistakes we've made, because we've all made them. There's two people in this world, those who've gotten caught, those that have not. Those without sin, right. Please be able to speak up, please. I think there's only one man that walked this earth that had the ability to judge, and it's certainly not any of us.
Ain't none of us in here.
So the second thing is you can see those obstacles as either real barriers and reasons to quit, or you can see them as opportunities to be able to grow in ways that God intends you to be better for his purpose, not your own. Right. So, and from what I believe is, in my life, those obstacles happen and they continue to occur, but they make me a much better servant leader, and they actually give me a perspective and opportunities that would never existed unless I viewed them as opportunities.
Wow.
So
that's right. I love that. We could talk for a much longer time. There's so much more to cover, but thank you for being here at the Black News Beat. Good luck on the trail. How you liking your chances?
You know what, I really don't like talking politics. I think service should speak for itself.
That's right.
And I'm here to serve people. I think if they believe that, my level of service and the record that we've established is worthy of another vote, I'd be honored to continue to serve the residents of Dauphin County.
Well, we'll leave it there. I love that. Shout out to George Hartwood for being here. We're so impressed with the work. And will you get involved? Yes. Well, we'll be right back. We are almost at the end of the show. We'll be right back with Last Lap. We're almost out of here, y'all. Y'all, it's been an action-packed show. It's been a long show. It's been an action-packed show with a lot of good information. I hope you took something away tonight. But we do have Last Lap. We're getting out of here. And during Last Lap, I usually send somebody to hell. I know there's a pastor here. I still got to send somebody to hell tonight. Whoever let the woman on the plane in Kenya with the giraffe feces? Yes, I did say giraffe feces. A woman from Iowa had her plans thwarted by U.S. Customs officials when they seized giraffe feces. Yes, that's right. Giraffe poop from her at a Minnesota airport. She intended to make jewelry from the giraffe feces she collected on her trip to Kenya. And this lady thought she could sneak past with giraffe droppings from Kenya to craft some bizarre bling. Now, we gotta ask, who was on duty in Kenya letting such foolishness fly? The audacity has us just like, what? Now she's infamous for her fecal fiasco instead of being a jewelry genius. Cue the heavenly side eye as we ponder on this peculiar passport tale. So that's where we're sending to hell. She can go there. So, that's right. There they are. Very weird. It was very strange. Like, why do you have that in your bag? And she gave it over to the customs folks like, oh yeah, I did bring this back. They let me on the plane. Like, duh. It was very interesting. So we are wrapping it up. I am so thankful y'all came. This has been a beautiful night. I am so glad you all were here. Yeah, I know. This is how I end the show, send people to hell. I know. But I just want to say to you all, from all things you heard tonight, I hope you're inspired. I hope you run for office. I hope you get involved in your community. I hope you go to Claudie's gym and look at the excellent work he's doing. There's so many great things happening in our community. This is just a sample. And absolutely vote on November the 7th. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. It is imperative that you vote. And then last but not least, I want you to big up yourselves. I want you to give yourselves a round of applause for being an amazing audience, but also for being present in this community and doing what you're doing. From the youngest to the oldest, we all have a purpose here. Clap for yourself, love on yourself, big up yourself. And when nobody does it, you gotta do it for yourself. You got to. So it is the end of the show. You guys have been amazing. I'll see you next week at Elementary Coffee. Good night.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like life, I'll rise.
I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless